Good morning, everybody. I have come to my shamanic shack for a bit of peace to do this video. I haven't even got dressed yet. Still in my PJs, my Deftone PJs. Yeah, I just want to go off the back of a video that I did a couple of days ago about being called to embrace the darker side of me, or the full versions of me, every bit. And I'd had this experience, which is another video, which is probably 3 videos back, about meeting that version of me in a puddle, in a vision, and having to pull her out the puddle and embrace her and dance with her and accept that she is a part of me. And so often we push parts of ourselves down, we suppress them. If you know anything about therapy, or when something is deemed as unacceptable aspects of us, we tend to shove it down, or we tend to hide bits of us away because they're considered less pleasing, often from childhood or whatever. But it can be through all sorts of things: poor relationship choices, a feeling of being made to feel like you're not worth something, or when you show up as your full crazy self, that's weird, like, and that can stint us and stunt us in our growth, or just being who we are. Anyway, so I'd had this, it's been a recurring, almost like reading a chapter of a book. Each day I'm reading the next bit, or the next part of the puzzle pieces are coming to me. So I'd had this experience where essentially I met this version of me and I joined forces with her and I danced with her and I accepted her, and I said, right, we're going to work as one now, in a wholeness, in a completion. And after that experience had happened, I had this strange feeling, and it felt like I could see butterfly wings. The dark and the light were the wings, but like the butterfly has a body, I was the body, and this central, like the central line of these two aspects of myself. And in that moment of aligning these two parts of me, I felt this gold energy, and I could see it, and it was sparkling, and it had a feeling to it which felt like joy and glistening and heaven. And I was like, ooh, I just had a snippet of it. I was like, what was that? And I could hear spirit saying, you felt that, did you? Why don't you explore that a little bit more? So I leant into that feeling and I was like, what is this? And as I leant into it to feel what that golden flicker was, I realized it was me. It was my true essence, my soul. And out of that soul was this compelling feeling to help others, to assist others, to love on others, and to help others rise. And when I saw that and felt it, it was as if I wasn't me, and I was watching myself as if I was someone else. And I could appreciate that my core is good. And that might sound corny and silly, but it was a real like, whoa, I'm okay, I'm good. Because for how long do we carry around this shame of thinking that you're not good enough, and that at your core you make too many mistakes, and we base things on all the wrong things? But my soul and your soul and all of it, we're good. We're made perfect. We just get covered in all this other yuck and rubbish, and we forget. So in this place, as I leant into it, I was like, because I've decided to love and accept all aspects of me, it was like a key had been unlocked in me for me to be able to access the truth of my soul and let it out. And then there was this compulsion to help others, and I knew that there was something very powerful in that state. And as I sort of said to spirit, like, okay, well, I want to be able to use that for good. I want to be able to use that to help others. So send me, or send people to me that need my love and that need healing or need restoration or whatever it is. Anyway, not long after I'd sort of said this, I had an inbox from a dear friend of mine who I've never met, and how we met was quite orchestrated. I have to stop for the trains. I live on a train line and it can get very noisy. Yeah, so she'd reached out to me, and her whole family, how we met was quite profound and supernatural, but she's been going through a difficult time, and she expressed that this difficult time was almost increasing, like more things were happening. And out of this golden soul place, I had this urge to say, can I pray for you? And that surprised me because, or not surprised, because to me, like, prayer and all that is kind of associated with what I've kind of left. I've left organized religion, but my faith and my connection to divine has never left. And sometimes we can trip up on words because they have an association with something, but this was a compulsion. Like, and I got over myself. I said, you know, I felt a bit embarrassed. I was like, but that's instinctive for me to say that, so I'm going to ask her. And so I typed, you know, can I pray for you? And she responded like, yes, I would really love that. I would love that. And then it just poured out of my soul as I was typing. It's like, it was more of a declaration of, may this person in this moment feel peace. May they feel strong. May there be hope, like sunshine through the darkness. Like, may the darkness lift so that she can feel surrounded and supported. And I fully believed everything that I was declaring over this individual. And then I finished and she said, I already feel it. I already feel that as I'm sat here. And we live the other side of the world. And it made me realize that some of us are here with these gifts or these tools that are meant to help others. And what a shame it is that we've been, you know, knocked to the side, or there's been a confusion, or things have been distorted to almost deter us from what is just natural. Like, it's just natural. This just pours out of my soul. And sometimes like divine wisdom or just clarity, or like, I don't know, seeing things that there's no way I could know. That's instinctive. And I feel like what I'm trying to say is our souls know what's up, right? But we don't let them lead. We lead from this. We lead from our mind. We lead from intellect. And that is not a way to live. Like, we need to walk by faith, not by sight. Like, we need to let this lead. And I think it's hard to know what to say sometimes. Sometimes I could waffle on forever. Last night, my mum died when I was 19. This is not off topic. I obviously haven't seen her in the flesh since, but she visits me as a blue butterfly and she makes her presence known. She flitters in at divine, poignant moments, and I've had her tattooed on my skin. But last night, as I was drifting off to sleep, she physically walked into the bedroom. And this sort of stuff does happen to me, but I've never had this experience with my mum. She walked into this room, she came out through this archway and she walked towards me and she said, I'm here to remind you that you are more than capable of doing everything your soul wants to do. Your life is so precious and rich. Don't waste it worrying about what other people think. And you have to bear in mind that she passed at the age I was 2 years ago. And when I reached that age, something in me, they say that you have dates that your subconscious remembers. And I sort of like broke down at that point. But she was here telling me I have so much more to do and I have so much more to experience. And we embraced. And she said, I know you're crying, but there is no grief here where I am. And these tears, I can't feel what you're feeling because that doesn't exist here, but I want you to run and live your life from your soul. And then she went to exit and I wasn't sad because I was like, she said, there's no separation ever between us. I'm always here. And as she left through the archway,